So, what is your name?
My name is Sofia.
Where do you come from?
From Chile, originally, but I'm living in Darwin at the moment.
Do you work or study?
I do both. I have 2 works and I'm studying for the IELTS.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about buildings. What type of buildings are there in your hometown or village?
Well, I was born in a city, in a big city, so I was surrounded by big buildings and high skyscrapers. I forgot that name. But when I was like a few months old, we moved to the countryside. So there were many cottages and small houses, farmhouses. So yeah, that was until I was like about 7, and then I moved to the city again. And I used to live in an area that was full of houses. It was like a suburb rather than in the middle of the city. It was maybe 30 minutes away from the city center, downtown.
Which building do you like the most?
Well, I like many buildings, especially the ones. I love buildings in Europe. I think probably those are my favorite ones. And I could say that Prague and Venice, they both have.
And why do you like them?
Because, okay, they are art, all of them. Like you walk through the streets and you see every single building is like a piece of art. And I love the colors. I love the expression of the buildings. And nowadays you don't see that much. Just from big artists that they can actually build beautiful buildings like in Singapore or in the big cities. You see like in Chicago or even in Sydney, the Opera House. But in Europe, like there are some places that every street has beautiful masterpiece buildings.
What was your school building look like?
So when I was, my first school, and the one that not my first one, but the one that I spent most time in, because I was in like 4 schools when I was younger. It changed over time. When I first arrived there, I think I was like 7 years old, and it was just a little house. And I remember that the roof had holes. So we had to put like pots to hold the water that was dripping from the roof, sorry. And yeah, that was for like a few years. And by the time I finished in that school, it was completely another building. It was modern, beautiful, and it had many new infrastructures and very technological. So since I arrived in that school, since I started when I was 7 until I left, I was like 15. In those 8 years, it developed and got more and more beautiful, technological, tidy. And
so, what facilities did your school buildings have?
They did. I don't know now because I haven't been there in a long time. But by the time I was studying there, I remember they have every classroom had big windows, like windscreens. So everybody could see what was going on in every class. That was really modern for that period. That was becoming more and more and more popular over time. But when I was in school, that was like new. And we had projectors, which was also new, and computers in every room, which was very technological and modern for that period. And we had a big court to play basketball and football and volleyball. And we have a rooftop as well, where we did some events.
Now,
it was pretty much
I'll give you a cue card, and you have exactly 1 minute. You can take some note if you want, and you need to speak on a building that you enjoyed being in.
So there was a building that I enjoyed very much when I went to Europe when I was 16 with my mom. We went to the Louvre, which is in Paris. This building, when you go, like, you can't see it from the streets. The only thing that you can see is a pyramid, a see-through pyramid on the surface. And then you go down underground, and the whole museum, because the museum is completely underground. And you go, like, it's so big. I remember my grandfather always told me, like, whenever he went to Paris, he would spend like minimum of 5 days each time just to go to the Louvre and enjoy every one of its rooms. And yeah, I remember I even fell asleep because I was really tired because it was huge, and you went from one room to the other one. There was the Mona Lisa, for instance. There were Egypt art and jewelry, and yeah, it's really big. You have many bunch of type of art pieces in different styles, like Renaissance artists or modern artists, and all sort of artists in there. It's huge. It's really big. And I really enjoy it. And especially because my mom was laughing at me and taking pictures of me because I was sleeping in one of the benches in the middle of the Egypt.
Okay, now let's move on to other questions. So, how is a building such as a school different from a theater?
Okay, so, well, some schools have theater inside, but yeah, a theater is normally, it normally has all the seats in a round facing the
center stage.
The stage. Thank you. So facing the stage, and it is made in that way so everybody can hear and everybody can see. And it normally has auditive technology, so the sound of the people that are on the stage can get louder because of the infrastructure. Whereas in the school, you have normally like square rooms, like cubes.
Are modern theaters basically the same as old theaters?
No, I mean, they have things that are common. In Greece, like 2,000 years ago or more, they were kind of like the same structure, which is like rounded, facing the stage. So that have, like, you can see it in modern and old theaters. But nowadays, normally theaters are inside in the building, so it's covered. And yeah, what I was saying before, like, it has sound technology, so it makes the voice of the people.
The artificial lights and sound system.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They didn't have
yes,
things.
as well. Yeah, they didn't have the artificial lights before, and nowadays the theaters, like, you can catch all the attention of the people that come to see it just by putting a light onto the main character or where you want the attention to be. Whereas before they couldn't do that. They had to have all the skills to make the public, or obviously like the attendance, grab the attention of the audience.
So, which is more important to a town, a sports center or a museum?
Oh, I think both are very important. The museum keeps the culture alive and make artists have a place to show their art and expression. And well, sports are incredible for developing a healthy lifestyle and developing also teamwork and making Old Town, for instance, being for one team or the other one, so they make people get together for one purpose. But I feel like it's better, probably, the sport ones, because it just moves more people and make people together, make people be healthy and have a purpose.
Thank you.